What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Appreciate you rocking with me. It's Michael, as always. Headed off to a pickup that a deal I made on Facebook Marketplace. My Facebook Marketplace isn't particularly robust. I live in a small area, as you guys know. Most of you guys know. And you know, it's an older community, so there's a lot of like antiquers, I guess you would say. Fix my hat here. And just people that really kind of value things highly. So it's not super common for me to find a good deal on Facebook Marketplace, but I'm on there like every day, just checking just what's new and kind of in the area. And I'm pretty picky. I could drive down to the so-called big city, but where most of the people live, and it's probably half hour, maybe 40-minute drive, depending on traffic. I pass a lot that stuff up off all the time, honestly. It's not a great area, quite frankly, so it's got to be something I really want to go after if I'm going to make the drive down there and meet a stranger, you know what I mean? But anyway, so this was something I caught on Monday, I guess it was, Monday or Tuesday, and he had a huge collection of Playmates brand Star Trek The Next Generation figures, all mint in package, really great shape. This is clearly a collection. He was wanting $250 for it. I was a little more comfortable at $200. He also had some die-cast airplane things up on his page that I had actually seen a couple days prior. So it was just coincidental it was the same guy. And so I offered him $250 for everything, which I'm probably going to break even on those planes in reality, but I should do really well on the Star Trek figures that it's kind of a wash. And so at the time, he wasn't really interested. You know, understandably, he had only had the listing up for about 12 hours, and he felt that he could get his full asking price. And in any other city, I think he could. But there's just not enough people out here. And the people that are out here I don't think they're going to be interested in that kind of collection. You know what I'm saying? By and large. So anyway, you know, I was like, hey, you know, my offer's on the table. If you can get your full asking price, great. If you can't, then, you know, hit me up. A couple days later, he hit me up and he said, hey, I'll do the $250. I said, great. Made a time to meet today. It was yesterday afternoon. I could have gone and met him, but I was like, you know, there's too much going on. I got a newborn. I got to cook dinner. I got to do all this stuff. So I'm actually driving a little ways to meet with him. Not distance-wise, but time-wise, because it's all like one-lane highways out here, and I got to go through a little touristy area where the speed limit drops to like 20. Actually, coincidentally, this is not too far from that garage sale where I bought the PS3. It's only probably a mile from there now that I think about it. But it's a nice drive. It's a very pretty drive. It's a fun drive, so I'm not, you know, no big deal. He picked the spot. It's basically a couple blocks from his house. But for the deal I'm getting, I'm willing to go meet him. It's kind of counterintuitive, you know. Typically, you think that when you got something to sell, you need to go meet the buyer, but you know. And I think at the time that he named it, I think he thought I was coming from the opposite direction because he was trying to give me like directions, and I knew the place. I knew exactly where he wanted to meet, but he was kind of trying to give me directions, and it was clear in his mind I was coming from the opposite direction, from the south end. But anyway, at that point, we had already settled on the location, and it's whatever. It's not a big deal. It's really not a big deal for me to meet him there. So let's talk about what he's got. So we'll say $250. We're not even going to count the airplanes. That's just some extra stuff. It's whatever. Okay, that's just a throw in. So he had 47 action figures. I didn't look all of them up, obviously, but I looked up a fair number of them, or just sort of made a general lookup. They range anywhere from $5 to like $30. So I'm going to be conservative and say I'm going to average $10 a piece. That alone's $470 gross. Okay, so I'm basically going to double my money or close to it just on those. He's also got, there was 3 or 4, again, mint in box, like ships, like vehicles. And then what I think is going to be the secret money is he has a pretty big collection of the micro machines. Both the actual Micro Machine brand and Playmates came out with their own like knockoff that was like halfway between Micro Machines and halfway between a Polly Pocket or a Mighty Max toy from that era, called Inner Space, and he has a bunch of those. There's a bunch of Deep Space Nine figures in there. I mean, it's a huge collection. It's probably 60 or 70 units. And so for $250, there's a huge potential to make money, and couldn't come at a better time when I have all these available listing slots, free listings on eBay. So it's going to be a lot of work. Obviously, comping out all of those items is going to take a long time. Taking all those pictures is going to take a long time. They're probably going to take a long time to sell. I did, like I said, comp them out. They do sell fairly consistently. They sell relatively quickly, and there's not a lot of them for sale, like listed. So I think that we're going to be able to turn this pretty quick. But this is just one of those things, man, and it's going to be fun. I loved Star Trek Next Gen. I loved Voyager. We actually just watched Deep Space Nine a year or two ago. I had never watched it. I think I watched like 2 episodes when they added Worf, and it just wasn't for me at that time. You know, I was a kid, and it wasn't the Star Trek that I knew. But obviously, it's a fantastic rendition of the franchise. But anyway, so it's going to be a lot of fun to go through. I'm really excited to just get it and see it and hold it. I didn't have any of these toys when I was a kid. Frankly, they weren't great toys. They weren't the most, what's the word I'm looking for? Articulate. They weren't the most articulated figures. I think only like the elbows and the knees are stiff, if I remember correctly. They, they're like Harry Potter Funko Pops in the sense that every episode that if they had a different outfit on, chances are they had a figure to go with it. So there was just an overwhelming abundance of figures. And, I've said before, we were poor. I had a lot of Ghostbuster toys, and I had a fair amount of Ninja Turtle toys. And, there's only so many toys you can have at the end of the day. I do remember when they ended up in KB Toys, towards the end of, I guess, the latter half of the 90s at that point, so the end of Next Gen, and when DS9 was winding down and Voyager wasn't really due. I guess maybe Voyager hadn't even started yet, I don't remember. But I remember seeing them really cheap and almost buying them. But at that point, I was just too old. I was in that middle ground where you're too old for the toys, but you're not old enough to have the expendable income to like buy stuff just to collect. And I was still buying comic books at that point, I'm sure. If I wasn't buying comic books, I was buying either my laptop or stuff to go with my laptop. So, it's just the timing wasn't correct. So, yeah, really excited to meet with this guy. All right, so I'm not going to record the meetup, but I will pick back up after I've got the stuff in hand, and we can take a quick look at it. All right. Well, that was cool. Just leaving the pickup. I'll tack on at the end of this some video of the stuff, but super nice guy. Had a great conversation with him. He used to own a toy store, and he's got according to him, rooms in his house full of new inbox toys from the 90s, a lot of Power Rangers. He kept talking about, he's like, I sold all my Star Wars, and I'm like, okay, what else you got? I want to know what you got left, a bunch of Power Rangers, a lot of 90s Star Wars, which isn't really worth anything, but the Power Ranger stuff would be cool to get. I don't know how much value there is in those at the moment, but again, if I can get it cheap enough, it's not going to matter. But yeah, he might be my new guy. He sounds like he's got a ton of stuff. He mentioned a lot of sealed models, vintage from like the 60s, 70s, and 80s, which have a lot of collectability and a lot of demand. So, shoot, this could be a lot. It could be nothing. You never know. Maybe nothing comes of it, but it could be really, really exciting. As far as the stuff I got, the Star Trek stuff, some of the cards weren't in mint condition. They're 30 years old, almost 30 years old. So it's to be expected. It's not the end of the world, but some of them aren't super mint, but they're still on card, and I didn't see any like significant bends. What I saw was like the paper on the cardboard was separating at the corners. That just happens. That happened when the stuff was brand new on the shelf, so I don't think that's going to affect anything too much. All right, bear with me because I'm doing this on my phone instead of the GoPro. But here's what we got from that pickup. We got these walkie-talkies, and actually, hang on one second. Somewhere here I've got, right here. I got my notes. Let's see. So, the walkie-talkies are $15 to $20. Everything's new in package. Not all the packages are sealed. I think this one is. Yeah, this one still is. But we got that. So there's, say $15. Let's be conservative. We got this next gen transporter set. This box has been opened, so actually I need to take this out and test it. I have not tested this one as of yet. And then we also got, I did test both of these because I was worried that the batteries were in there and that they had exploded. But we got this, oh shit, my bad. We'll turn the camera so you can actually see it in the right format. What is this? Klingon attack cruiser and this Romulan warbird. Both, I've taken the batteries out, but they both work. They both work great. Let's see, attack cruiser, transporter, and the warbird, all about $30 to $40 in box. So very happy with that. Those three are, or I should say those four are going to account for about half of the money I laid out. Tons of these kinds of figures. Nothing really particularly special about them. I think the most expensive one was $15. Most of them were around 8-ish. Plenty of them were around 5-ish. Yeah, right around, I would say, I think I said the average was about $10, but realistically the average is probably closer to 8, because the number of figures that are $5 to $8 far exceeds the number that are 10 to 15. But that's all right. Like I price these things all out pretty conservatively, and I think I figured that I was gonna do like $700 gross, and I'm all into it for about $250, like we talked about. I was really excited for these micro machines because it looked like a lot of these go for quite a bit of money. Unfortunately, these ones that were in this lot don't go for a ton. And there wasn't as many micro machines as I thought. Basically, they go for $10 to $12 a piece. I wanted this so bad when I was a kid. Is this open? No, it's still sealed. It doesn't work. The battery's dead. But this thing is cool. It would make the sound when you pushed it. This only goes for about $5, I think I saw. So nothing big there. These these inner space things, which are basically like Polly Pocket things like I talked about. These things actually have some value. Um, this one, not necessarily. I think this is only $10, but like, is it this one? Yeah, the phaser. This one's $20. So, and there's a couple others that are $20 and $30. So, you know, a lot of money to be made there. And then basically I got 2 more boxes down there. Those boxes down there I think are full of some more of the inner space maybe, but mostly full of figures. Like I said, there was 40 some figures in the lot, so even at $10 a piece, that's $400. Actually, almost 50 figures in the lot. So yeah, just the figures alone are almost $500 if you average 10 or so dollars. So that's what we got there, and you'll be seeing a lot more of these hopefully soon. I haven't had a chance to take pictures and get them listed and all that, but as soon as we can do that, you'll start seeing them more as they go out. Hey, you guys are getting a different view on this one. I didn't even think about that. So that's it for this one. I don't know. It's exciting. This is, my first. No, I guess the DVD buy was my first one, but this is a whole new foray for me. This kind of buy. I talked to the guy about buying some other stuff. He has a bunch of micro machines. He used to own a toy store. I think I talked about that in the vlog part of the video. But he came back to. I haven't had a chance to go through the list. He sent me a list of what he has, and I haven't had a chance to go through it. I'm going to do that now. But he wanted $900, and that's averaging $10 a unit. And I don't. I think he's really overvaluing. He said that he looked the stuff up, and it's like $15 on average per piece or whatever. So he's like, well, if I can get 10 for it, that's $900. And I saw that he's listed him on Facebook Marketplace and on Craigslist. If he can get the 900, then Godspeed, good for him. But I don't see how I'm going to be able to pay him more than probably 400 or 500 for it. There just won't be enough left once you account for fees and everything. And you got to account for the fact that you're not always going to get top dollar, so. And I also don't know, because he said he doesn't do eBay, so I don't know where he's looking it up. Is he looking at asking price, or is he looking at sold prices, that kind of thing. So I don't know. I'll go through the list and we'll see, and I'll hit him back with my number, and if we can make the deal, great, and if not, then oh well, maybe he's not going to be my resource as much as I thought. So anyway, that's it for this one. Like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. We'll see you next time.